Who's my ideal dinner guest? South African dinner guest? I think definitely Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. You know, Buthelezi has been around since Paul Kruger was a politician. They were together, actually. Not together, but they were together as politicians back in the day.
Probably Henry Davids from the Unlimited Titans. We are friends and we've spent a couple of, golf days together and things like that.
I would have to say Mac Maharaj, because I think he's a fascinating person and I think there would be no shortage of dinner conversation. We would just be talking and talking and talking.
The first is Gwedi Mantashe and the second is Patrice Motsepe, because I think dining with the two of them would be fantastic. We'd be in a 7-star restaurant and we're going to be drinking Shivas, like the top-notch stuff.
Definitely Elvis Blue.
Well, someone I would love to have dinner with is Tendai in Tawarira, the Beast. Just love that guy.
I know everybody's going to say this, and I know this is like the biggest cliche in the world. But I would really like to have Nelson Mandela at my table.
Ideal dinner guest for me is the one and only Alfred Ntombela, also known as Shorty. Growing up, this guy always made me laugh.
Undoubtedly, Julie Madonsela.
Valiant, swart. Can you just imagine?
Well, there's only one legend that stands out, and it just comes from my love of music, and that would be you, Masekela. I mean, imagine the stories that guy has got to share with the rest of the world.
Definitely Solly Philander. I mean, growing up in our household, we always used to watch Lyrica Ryan. Men's weet, so mark mens, and that was genuinely like a landmark thing in our house. And just to get his perspective of how South Africa was back then and the music industries and television in those days.
From Bicycle Sonder Slot to Lisa Setlavier, definitely perfect guest. It will definitely be Quisco Bass.
So who are you inviting over for dinner on the 29th of May for Come Dine with My Culture?